Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and I wanted to share with you guys a project that I'm working on right now. So I'm getting ready for craft fair season, and I have a bunch of these cute little journals that I made. They are using one sheet of 12 by 12 paper, and this was inspired. I saw a video and was inspired by a video done by Junking with Gigi, and she was inspired from a video with by Natasha from Treasure Books. So this was like doubly inspired. I did this project back in July. It was Christmas in July, and I'll post the videos for these if you're interested in seeing these. But anyhow, I made, I think, like 8 or 9 of these really cute little 12 by 12 Christmas journals back then. And this is how it's made from the actual 12 by 12 paper, because the bottom of it folds up. And so that forms the entire 12 by 12 sheet. And there's the pockets, and then added papers in here for journaling, and then just some tags and things, some ephemera to go along with it. And so this was a simple project to make. And it has these little eyelets on the seam here. So it was just one 12 by 12 pattern paper, really cute and easy. And so taking this idea and running with it, I was trying my hand at, and this was back in July, I tried my hand at doing kind of a cover that was more of a gatefold, that didn't actually fold over like this, but did a gatefold, so it met in the middle, and then there would be some kind of just attachment in the center of it. And I was trying to figure out how to get that to work, and I ended up scrapping that idea, but I did keep this sheet. And now this isn't 12 by 12. This is a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet. And I came across it again recently, and I thought, oh, let me try this again. Let me see if I can rework this. And at the time, I was using an 8.5 by 11 because I had ordered some black, what I thought was going to be chipboard, and it ended up being some nice black cardstock that was heavier than most of the cardstocks I use in card making and journaling. So I ended up thinking, well, how can I use that? And so I was going to use that as the cover of some of these journals. I ended up using that paper in a different project. So back to the drawing board, and I came across this and a couple of days ago, and so I have been working on these journals, and this is what I have come up with. This is not original by any means. Like I said, it was inspired by something that Natasha at Treasure Books had done that I saw from another YouTuber, and I created these little booklets. And I'm sure that somebody else has done these before. I was just playing around in here, but I don't know who to give credit for this particular project. So anyhow, if you guys have seen it somewhere else, let me know. But this is what I've done. So I did a couple of things. I originally thought I wanted to do this with 12 by 12 paper, and I was going to reach for my huge bin of Echo Park and Cartabella papers. I have a ton of Echo Park and Cartabella paper for Christmas, and I decided to shift gears and go with something else because 49 and Market has really heavy, their cardstock is a really heavy weight. It's very durable. And so I thought, if I went with that, I wouldn't have to make a base and then decorate the base with cardstock, which is what I was going to do. And so that's how I came up with these. So let me go ahead and show you these. So this one, I just used black cardstock, 12 by 12 sheet. I cut it down. And this one in particular has a magnet closure on it. You hear it? And then on the inside, and so this is just a 12 by 12, it's a 12 by 8. So I've got a little tag here. We'll flip through real quick. I've got a little paper clip, and then the papers in here. It's just a 3-hole punch, and then paper on the back. And some of the others I did pockets, and then a nice pocket here. Some of the others I did pockets, and that's why I ended up paper clipping those these to the front. So there was some additional journaling in those, and so it keeps getting stuck to the paper clip. That's nice. So it's on there. And so that's what that looks like. And on this one, I changed up my measurements a little bit from the original measurement. This is originally how I was thinking of doing this. So you'll notice that they open and close differently. Like this one opens from the right, like you would a book. And I couldn't get away from that. So I originally had done this one. And when I did the measurements on this, I did this just like I would have with this book. So this is a 1/4 inch spine here. And I thought, well, if I've got a 1/4 inch spine here, I need something larger on the other side to come over and to hold it all together, right? So that makes sense. It makes total sense. And so that's what this does. And so this spine is actually 3/8. So it's just 1/8 of an inch wider than this side. That was it. So 1/4, 3/8. But that way it was a little bit wider, you can see here, so that it folds over and it keeps that book in place, or the binding together. On the inside of this, I had a little tuck spot here. Here are my pages that I put in here, a pocket in the back of this one that I didn't do in the other, and there's some journal cards in there. And then this one has a pocket on this side, and this one just has a tag in there. And then I did a ribbon closure on this one instead of the magnet. So this was my first kind of prototype that I was playing around with. This one right here with the ribbon, because like I said, I did the spine on one side at 1/4 of an inch, and then the spine on the other side at 3/8. And so this one is actually 3/8 and 3/8. And I closed it this way because I just could not get away from, and I know it's a journal, and so this isn't a gatefold. I guess it's more of like a fold over. And so I know that this makes more sense to close it up, but I keep wanting to open it like this, and I cannot get away from that. And I think it's just the book nerd in me, I guess. I would be interested in knowing which you guys like better. I did notice that even though I increased the spine, and even though these spines are the same width, it closes just fine. And there's not, I mean, you could even fill it up a little more, and I don't think that it would cause any issues or cause it to stress too much. Anyhow, yeah, I couldn't get away from that. So let me show you. Then I was going to do another one. So both of those are this black base with the cardstock on top. And then the cardstock I used for this one was Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Rustic Christmas. And I used these 6x8 papers that I had in my collection. And then this one was the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage 'Tis the Season. And so originally, this guy right here, which is also Simple Stories, Simple Vintage 'Tis the Season, I had torn this paper out, and I was actually going to use this paper to decorate the base of this book. But I ended up scoring it with all my other papers and making a folio or a journal cover out of it before I even realized what was going on. So then I just went with it. And so you can see here that it is also the 3/8 by 3/8. And it opens this way, and this one has a Velcro closure on it. And so this isn't as sturdy. This paper right here isn't as sturdy as the 49 and Market. And so that's why I hadn't intended on making it its own journal. But since I did it, I went with it just to see how it would turn out, how it was going to hold up. It's Merry Christmas on here. It's just nice and simple. We've got a tag here, all the same papers inside, journal cards, and pocket with a tag here. So it's all pretty much done the same way. It does feel a little bit different though, just because it's not as heavy a cardstock, but I wanted to kind of give you the idea. So Simple Stories cardstock, so you know how that kind of feels, the weight of that. And then the 49 and Market cardstock, this feels a lot sturdier, like it could put up with a lot more wear and tear. So just kind of wanted to show you that if you wanted to use solid cardstock, totally use our solid cardstock for this project. If you wanted to use a black cardstock base and then decorate it with other papers, do that as well. Either one works. You can also close it either way you wanted to. If you wanted to put the closure side here and close it that way, it'll work either way. It's just that as I went along, I started doing it this way because it just made I don't know why. It just made more sense to me. I don't know. Like I said, probably the book nerd in me. And so then this one is the one that I'm going to show in the tutorial today, because this was originally the intended project. And so this one I did from one sheet of 12 by 12 paper. This is Merry Christmas. This one is a Velcro closure. I used the other part of the strip that was remaining, 4 by 12 inch strip that was remaining, to go ahead and make the pockets that are on here. So there's a little tag there. There's a long tag here. And then the pages, all of them have the same type of pages. And then the pocket back here with the larger ephemera bits in it and journaling tags. So you'll notice when you close it up that I did not go all the way to the end. And that was really just an aesthetic kind of decision. I didn't know, if you see that when you close it up here, I come close to the edge of this because I have this vellum in here that I wanted to kind of poke out at the end. So I did, it's a 5 inches across the back. And so I did 4.5 here. And then these are 4 3/4. They stick out, but then other papers and things can be added. I think when you see it like this before it's closed, it looks fine. And having it a little bit shorter doesn't harm it whatsoever, the paper itself. If you wanted to cut your paper longer though, feel free to do that. I was just doing that because I wanted that vellum to kind of stick out a little bit. So that was purely just a design issue or a design thing that I did. So anyhow, that's kind of the show and tell on that project. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of move some stuff around, and then I'm going to start the project or the tutorial on how I put that together with you here in just a minute. Okay, so I have cleaned up my space a little bit, and then I have chosen my cardstock that I'm going to make the bases for these journals or this journal. And I did go ahead and select 2 because I wanted to kind of show you how to plan this project. And so this is a 12 by 12. This is 49 in Market, ARToptions Holiday Wishes. And this is Holiday Wishes Holly Wisps, this particular paper here. So in working, if you're going to use a solid pattern paper to do this project and have it be your cover, you're going to want to use your focal points. So this holly here and this holly here, and the way they're going to wrap around, they're going to form the closures of the book. And so I didn't want to cut it at 8 inches here and then cut off and lose a big portion of this holly over here because it was going to be the focal point of the book. So be mindful when you're cutting your paper that you're leaving the focal point visible. So what I did on this particular one is I removed a little bit from the top. It's not really going to impact much. I'll use it for scrap. I'll put it to the side. And then I went ahead and cut it at 8 inches so that a big portion of this is still visible, so that when I go to fold it and everything, or score it and fold it, it's still going to have that holly visible. And I'm just, and then this can still be used for pockets on the inside. It's still plenty big enough to use. So just be mindful of that. And even if you didn't have a large enough strip to use for pockets on the inside, you can use your scrap paper to make pockets. I'm sure you've probably got plenty of plaids or other pattern paper that coordinate with some of your papers that you could use. You could use them for making pockets. So I'll do this one later. I'll work on that one later. I just wanted to show you that for the cuts, that it makes a difference. And so same with this one. This is the one I'm actually going to be working with today. And this is also 49 in Market, ARToptions. This is Holiday Wishes Beacon of Light. And I did remove most of the lantern here because I really wanted these flowers and the cardinal on this side to be the focal point. So I wasn't really worried about the lantern. And the reason why I didn't trim up top and try to get more of it in is because then I would have sliced halfway through it. So I'm not really concerned about that because we can do something to cover that up if we need to. And then this can be the inside of our pockets, or this would actually be the inside of our pockets. So let's get to scoring. This is going to be the fun part. This is a 12 by 12 sheet. I'm sorry, this is a 12 by 12 sheet that I've cut down to 12 by 8. And so the scoring on this is going to be a little bit wonky just because I'm doing 3/8 inches for the spines. So this is kind of what it's going to look like. And I know that this is not the correct measurement here, but I'll go ahead and write the measurements on here so that it's easy for you to see. So the first part of this is going to be 3 inches. So the first fold, you're going to score at 3. So let me go ahead and mark this. From here to here is 3 inches. You're going to score at the 3, and then you're going to score at, I don't know how to indicate this. I'll just do this. This is going to be 3 3/8. So it's going to be 1/8 over 3¼ So we are going to be right here. So this is 3¼ and so we're going to score here on this line. So you're just adding 1/8. Math is not my strong suit, so I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. And then I want this back side to be 5 inches. So from here to here is going to be 5 inches. And then from here to here, this last flap, it's going to end up being 3¼ inch. Okay. So if you want to measure in this way, you can, since you know that this is going to be 3¼ So here we go, 1, 2, and 3. And so we would go here, 8¾ So right here is 8¾ And then we're going to go in by 3/8. So we're going to measure at 8 3/8. So right here, 8 3/8, and then 8 3/4. So I hope that that makes sense. So this is going to be at the 3-inch line. And so this is 3/8, and so this is 3 3/8 line. This one right here is going to be at the 8 3/8 line. This is going to be 3/8 inch from here to here. And so then you're going to end up scoring at 8 3/4 there. I hope that that makes sense. And so then all of it's going to equal up too. And it's just because, and I know if it seems a little bit odd, it's because I did the 3/8 instead of the 1/4. So if you wanted to just do a quarter spine, that's totally up to you. And then it would, the math may be a little bit easier for you to understand. It helped me by being able to measure out the space in between. So 3 inches, 5 inches, 3 1/4 inches, and then you can do your marks on the insides of those scores. If you want me to do that, here, I'll do it one more time, just so that might be a little bit clearer since I'm not stopping to make marks or anything. So let's see. So here's my other sheet that I'm going to do later. So I'm going to score at 3 inches and then 3 3/8. Then I'm going to come in. It's going to be 3 1/4 inches here. So I'm going to go into 8 3/4. So that this is 1/4 and then 3 inches. So hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm going to go in and do 3/8 again. So 8 1/4 plus 1/8 is 8 3/8. And I'm going to score there. So there, now that I haven't stopped to write down the measurements for you, that's what it looks like. So it was super simple. Once you get it down and you get rolling with the project, it's very easy to do. It's not as confusing as while I'm trying to explain it, I promise. And then you have to remember that math is not my strong suit at all. Not a math girl, period. All right, let me grab my bone folder. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold these over, and then I want to make sure that these are lining up. So before I really give it a good firm press, I'm making sure that those ends line up. Let me make sure. I don't want it to see how it was off kilter there. I want to make sure it's folding up and it's going to line up right, because you do want it to line up correctly. All right. And then I'm going to fold over this next one. Let me open this up. It's easier to gauge that on the lighter sheet or on the lighter side there. That works. I'm putting those eyelets in, and so I just preferred a little bit wider spine. That was the only reason why I moved to the 3/8 inch spine instead of the quarter like with the other booklets. That was it. So see how pretty is that? That does not look great. That looks fantastic. So again, we're going to cover on this side. It just feels right to me. Just feels right to me. Cannot help it. Okay, so now we have this side for our inside pockets, and we can cut those down later. I'm going to go on to more important things at the moment, and I wanted to go ahead and show you how you're going to add your eyelets here. I have an old-fashioned tool. If you have one of the Crocodile, the big bites that will allow you to go in there, you can go in there and get those holes punched with that. My Crocodile would work, but only here and here. I wouldn't be able to get that center punch, but I have the old-fashioned kit. This is the Making Memories kit. You can tell how old it is. This is actually kind of falling apart in places. So I'm going to add these the old-fashioned way, but let me show you how you're going to find your spots. So this is the 8-inch. I'm going to line my ruler up 1 to 8. It's lined up perfectly. I'm going to kind of eyeball the center of this fold here. I'm going to go down 1 inch, so to 7, and make a mark. I'm going to come up 1 inch from the bottom, make a mark there, and then at 4 inches. And so that's where I'm going to put my eyelets. So super simple. I have the old-fashioned tool. It makes a lot of noise. I'm going to go ahead and put my eyelets in off camera, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and set my eyelets. I chose a nice red. I think most of mine that I did today had the red on them. And then I did ink up the edges, and see the difference that makes. So now it creates a lot of definition. As far as the spine goes and everything. I didn't do the insides of the spine because I didn't want to flip them out, but it's not going to matter. Okay, I also took a minute to make the pockets. And as you'll recall, or if you recall, this, let me put it back together again, was something like, no, it was not. It was something like this. And so what I did was I didn't want to lose the bulk of this from that corner. So I just cut the pocket to fit here so that the main image was here in the center of this. So just be mindful of those types of things when you're, creating your projects, when you're doing your designing. I also used a lace border punch. I believe it was a Stampin' Up! Punch to put that lace border across the top, and then I used my corner rounder to round the edges at the bottom. I feel like that adds a lot of softness to it rather than just having a lot of straight edges in there, and it kind of softens it up a little bit. Okay, and this one was this way, and I wanted different heights on these pockets. I didn't want it to just look like it was a strip all the way across here. So this one, and then I liked this here. And so I wanted it to look like it was going up instead of that way. So I ended up cutting it this way. So this little leaf here goes up, and that ended up trimming it down a little bit. And now it will go there. And I used walnut stain, the Tim Holtz Distress Ink and walnut stain to distress those. And then this one is just a tuck, and I did round that corner there. So bottom and side. And this is a great journal that can be made assembly line style. You've got everything out, especially if you're working with the same paper collection. You've got all of your pages and your ephemera, and you can mix and match, and it works very quickly. It all comes together very quickly. Okay, and here's the other thing. I know that the 49 and Market, this particular paper, is a little bit more modern. And so if you wanted to make it look or feel a little extra Christmas-like, you could use a stencil over the back of this. You could have stenciled some snowflakes or maybe some little Christmas trees, something like that across the back of it to make it look a little more festive. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind it. I've always liked 49 and Market's paper, and the fact that it's a little bit lighter on the inside doesn't bother me, but this is where you can personalize it to make it kind of your own thing. Okay, and so now let's work on the signature. So now let's put this together. So I had a darker piece, and then this guy, and then I had my coffee dyed. I was doing this assembly line style earlier, so I wanted to make sure that I kind of kept that going. And then I had this guy, so same thing going here. And then music sheet, vellum, dyed paper, light colored paper, ledger paper, and oh, I guess I didn't trim that one down. Okay, let me pull this one out and trim it down because I did not trim it down. Okay. So now, light paper, ledger paper, and then lacy paper. Okay. Now you'll see how it pushes all of this out as you start to pack it in there. So I'm going to remove this vellum piece and make sure that these are all nice and tight in here. And then I'm going to just stick them to the edge here. See, 4.5, 4.5. And then we're going to trim. And that is something that I can do with this cutter. Your cutter probably would not do. Oh, look, I had some of that on there. I did not care for that. So I obviously didn't trim that down well enough. Okay. So another method or another way of doing that is to take your ruler, your straight edge, and to set it on the end, and then take your X-Acto and then just trim it down. So if you don't have a huge swing line like I do, that'll cut through all those papers, then that's the way to go. So let's put this vellum back in here. It's there. And I just like the look of that vellum peeking. I mean, if you're going to have it in there. That seems like a lot. I must have trimmed that down. I know I did, because it did not stick out like that. So how much did I trim that down by? Now I'm curious. Because this is only 5 inches. I know you guys are yelling at me again, so probably about 1/4. So it's probably 4 3/4. Okay, so let me trim this to 4 3/4. We're gonna try this again. It's been a long day. All right, and there we go. And I'm sleep deprived. We've got that new puppy, and it is definitely, wearing me out. She is imprinted on me though. She is bonded to me, follows me everywhere, has to be near me 24/7. I do get brief moments of reprieve because we are doing a little bit of crate training, because I do have to go into the office to work occasionally. So, and that's where she's sleeping for now. So until she can learn all the house rules, you know, we'll have her doing some crate training until she can be left out all the time on her own. So I do get a few moments of reprieve. Right now my husband is home though, so he has the baby. Just trying to center this up a little bit. Okay. And so that's what it's going to look like in our book. And I don't think that we need to, you don't need to watch me sew that in. So let me sew that in. And then I will come back and we will go ahead and decorate this up. Okay, so I've got my signature in. And this is what it looks like. I know we did a flip through of the others, but now that you know what's in there exactly, you can see how this looks. So plenty of space for writing and personalizing and everything. I'm not adding a lot of tucks and flips and decorating these pages. These are strictly for journaling. And this is a, you know, basic journal. And I'm kind of thinking though right now that I may not want to do anything with this. Is that terrible? I mean, it's so pretty as is. I may not want to cover all of this up. Maybe if I just did a little Velcro and Velcro, you know, just kind of there on the inside and held it down. What do you guys think? What do you think? Why can't I hear you? Okay. So this is kind of the ephemera packet that goes with this. So this was the Vintage Artistry. Is it? No, this is not what goes with this. Kind of looks like it, but it's not. I have so much Christmas stuff and so much ephemera. I think I'm confused. This is, oh yeah, because this is ARToptions. So this isn't Vintage Artistry. I have another collection that's Vintage Artistry. I mean, not that this wouldn't work. I think this would work as well, because that's, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing. But then here's these pretty bits. I'm looking for ephemera to go on the inside, and then I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do for the closure. But also from my Christmas in July stuff, I had this leftover ephemera in here. So I'm going to pull some of that out and see if any of it will work with this, or if I'm just going to have to make all new ephemera. Okay. The rest of those are just tags and things. So let's see. Like the little Welltail tabs. Tabs, not tags. Tabs. Okay. That. But it would go like that, and that's already wider than... No. 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 Excuse me. Sorry for that. That's a no. That would look good with it, wouldn't it? Maybe that one. Mix a little, oh, that's got some blue in it. That's pretty. Mix in a little traditional and non-traditional together. That might be what I end up having to do with this one. Okay, so let's open this up and see what we've got. I really like this. I think that this looks good with it. And I like this one because it's got that nice bit of blue in there. And then let's see if there are any tags in this that are large enough. That's kind of pretty. Is that too same there? And like if I put it there, there we go. See? Look. Okay, can I tell you? So I have minimal ephemera. I tend to make things to go with my stuff as I go along. But when I did Christmas in July, I did a lot of just ephemera prepping. This has come in handy. So now I'm a big fan of just having that ephemera done. Huge fan. Okay, so this guy would go, and I could put that there. And then I think that I'm going to just look in the paper collection and then make one of those tall tags to go here. So I'll do that one off camera. And then I would call this done. So we're good. We're good. We're good. The only thing I haven't figured out yet is this closure. And I did so many different closures just because I wanted all of them to be a little bit different. And then what I put on the front of them just lended to a different style of, you know, of closure. So that's just kind of how that went. And again, it's a way to mass make, but also add individualized components to it so that it looks and feels different. Someone's not picking it up going, oh, this is the same as this one. You know, it's different. They all have a unique something to them. So I am liking this very much. I think that what I am going to do is I'm just going to put, I wonder if, thinking out loud here, I wonder if, did I have any, see, the only bit of scrap I had left is this from cutting that bottom panel. I didn't have a whole lot left. I'm going to have to bust into something else. Okay, I have a ton of this. So I have the holiday wishes 6x8. I think I have 2 of them. Yeah, I do. I have 2 of them. So let me look in here real quick and see if I can find something, because I'm kind of thinking, what if I made, that's not right. What if I made a tab? You know what I mean? Like a well-tell tab. So let me see. Let me see. Sorry about that. That guillotine's on the, I told you, it's so big. I usually keep it off to the side. I don't have it right here at the ready. So I kind of have to do all my cutting there. But it's better for me because I used to keep it on the other side of the room. And so I was constantly getting up, well, I don't know if that's better for me. I was constantly getting up and down, and that meant more exercise. So now that it's right here by me and I can just scoot in my chair, not as much exercise, but you know. Okay. I hope you guys are still with me. I think the next thing I'm going to get for my studio is the little grabber arm. I can sit in my chair and just reach out and extended arm grab stuff. Just bring it to me. So if I did this on here and then did the Velcro, we could open it up and I could always put like a something on here or just leave it blank. What do you guys think? Does that really take away? I think it's low profile enough that it would work. And I would add, ooh, need to be aware of that. Okay, I'm glad I opened this up. So then I could put the Velcro tabby there and he would be right there. I think I like it. I'm gonna do that. I'm going to do it. We're committing. Oops. All right. So let me do it from this side. Right. Right. Perfect. Okay. Does that not look right? Is that crooked? I'm telling you, one of my eyeballs is crooked. I'm always crooked. Okay. So now I have these crafting Velcro thin dots, and I really like these because you can barely see them once they're on. So I am going to take the fuzzy end. I'm going to put a minimal amount of glue. They're pretty tacky, but I really want them to stick, you know. Over time, that's really got to hold. And then I'm going to take the other end and attach it to the sticky end. There we go. Oops. Make sure it's centered up right. Okay. Then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this. Let me get this centered up. And then that should, yep, they're lined up in there. But I'm not going to pull on it because they're both wet. And I'm going to leave that there. And then I've got a glue mark here. And I no longer have a glue mark. I love this thing. Gets rid of those glue marks after they're dry. You got to let it dry, but once they're dry, that gets rid of them. So then there you go. And I may put a dangle on this one just to give it some personalization. I may put something here. I don't know. Or I may just leave it like this. It's so pretty the way it is. I didn't really want to do something that was going to take away, but now it's going to open and have this little tab closure. See? And you can barely see it. So it's not taking away from this at all. At all. And so that's kind of how I decided to do all of the closures anyway. You want to let the paper speak to you. So here we go. Here they are, the journals that I did complete, and it all started with this, and then me ordering the wrong product on Amazon. It all kicked it off. This journal and bad product, and that's how a lot of my ideas form anyway. I get a lot of inspiration online from other crafters, and I try to give credit whenever I recall who did them, and then the other part of my inspiration comes from me just ordering the wrong stuff or picking up things and going, how can I use this? What can I do with this? And so that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will put the my weird measurements down in the description box. I'll also link the tutorial for the fairy journals that I did. And then in the description of that link is the link for Junking with Gigi's video that gave me the inspiration, and also Natasha at Treasure Books video that gave me the inspiration for those large 12 by 12 journals. Anyhow, if you have any additional questions, though, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you're willing to give one of these a try, and I'd love to see it. Tag me in it if you do end up making something. And if you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And I appreciate everyone's support. I can't believe how much my channel has grown, and I haven't even hit the 1 year mark yet, but we're getting really close. It's this month. So anyhow, but I do appreciate your support. And until next time, bye.